I'm going to a Fuji X-T3 preview event, and I've got a bunch of questions that you guys had posted that you all wanted me to ask the Fuji reps. So that's what we're doing today, boys. I'm going to get them answers. I'm hoping, this is my hope, that the low light performance is vastly improved over the X-T2, because then what the heck are those full frame junkers going to start talking about next? Oh, well, it doesn't perform well in low light. Well, come on, Fuji. Help a brother out. Let's prove them all wrong. Alright, so we're here, and my main hope is that they will actually have some loaner copies for press, so that I can actually take it out and not have to only shoot in like very controlled conditions where the lighting is a such and such way. I'm hoping that I can maybe take it to a couple of local areas, maybe where the lighting is a little bit different, and kind of scoot around town and find those different locations. Maybe try and do some quote-unquote wildlife photography. I did bring my 100 to 400 millimeter lens, just in case they do let me take it, and maybe go down by the river, try and catch some gulls or some cranes or something flying across the water, something like that. Someone had asked about that. But if they do not let me have the like a loaner copy or whatever, I'll try to get as much of the questions that you all sent in answered as possible. So, but don't nobody hold me to nothing, because it ain't like I'm Superman. I can't just steal it. Shit. Okay, let's go. Alright, I'm home, and I am looking at the footage. So, I figured I would just kind of talk my way through this footage for you guys. X-T3 looks essentially just like the X-T2. As far as dimensions, as far as weight, as far as feel and overall aesthetic, everything is pretty much the exact same.
So there's not going to be a production shortage of these things. We're not going to get caught like we have in the past, where there was more interest than we anticipated.
It is a very pretty camera. They had 2 silver ones there and 1 pre-production silver one. They didn't have any of the black ones, which is a little unfortunate. I would have kind of liked to have seen what they look like, you know, how they distinguished from each other. But essentially, I just kind of set mine, my X-T2, right next to the X-T3, and kind of got a visual comparison. And as you can see, with the battery grip on, the X-T3 is significantly thicker and deeper, so it gives you a lot more purchase. I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of liked the smaller grip of the X-T2, but you know, it would just be something that I would have to get used to. But overall, the body styling, the button placement, everything is exactly the same. Unfortunately, we all know now that you are unable to swap and use the battery grip from one to the other, because the pin placement on the Fujifilm X-T3 grip is in a different place. I don't know that they necessarily had to do that. I mean, I think it's just kind of a bit of a cash grab. But for the low price of, you know, $14.99, and you're not required to have the grip anymore in order to get all of those advanced functions, in theory, if you just wanted a smaller rig, you don't even have to buy the damn thing. The eye cup is now further away from the body by about 4 or 5 millimeters. It's not much, but you can tell a difference. So if you ever had problems touching the screen with your nose, you know, you might actually be able to alleviate that a little bit at this point. Next is the diopter. Some of you all had experienced accidental changes in your diopter setting when either putting it in or taking it out of your bag, or accidentally hitting it or whatever when you were hitting your mode dial or your ISO, you know, switch wheel. Well, now it kind of works like the crown on a watch. So you pull it out to make your adjustment, and then you push it in to lock it. So that is pretty nice. It's got a little bit of extra purchase on that diopter wheel. It does kind of feel as though the knurling on the camera is a little, in some places, a little bit different. And the collars seem to have a bit more of a ridge, a little bit more purchase on them. On the X-T2, it is a little bit of a hassle to kind of get your finger underneath there. But once you got used to it, once I got used to it, it was no big deal. But it was nice that they increased the size of the mode dial and the metering dial collars. Next up, I did in fact try out the face and eye auto tracking. That is Sony level, I think. I wasn't able to capture a whole lot of video. There was like 20 other people standing around wanting to get their hands on it, so I tried to play around with it as much as I possibly could and at least get some footage from our standpoint, a first-person standpoint, and it does look really good. It looks like it is tracking and locking on. The eye autofocus seems to be following around heavily and really kind of staying in that area. It does look like the algorithm is trying. So just the fact that they've got it this good from the very beginning means that, you know, this camera is going to be supported for probably up to 4 years. So I'm sure that they're going to continuously and they're going to continuously update this algorithm and make it better and better and better. I can't even imagine what those XH1 shooters were thinking, because I mean there are so many video features in this new camera, but the eye autofocus I think is going to be pretty awesome. I did take a bunch of RAW files, but right now there are no RAW converters that can handle the RAW files. So while I would like to show you some samples of like what the autofocus did or how the photographs actually look in RAW, I can't do it. But as you can see, the eye autofocus is locking on and tracking like a beast.
Automatic face tracking.
Now, as some of you all know, we now have zebras in camera, so you are able to see what is highlighted, what's going to be clipping. So for you video shooters, again, this is a fantastic way to quickly and easily see what kind of stuff you're going to have in the shot. If you're going to have anything that's overexposed, you're going to immediately be able to see that as long as you have your zebras turned on, and they do work pretty well. You can also flip the pattern from left or to the right. Very convenient. You are also able to make all of your numbers, so like your shutter speed, your f-stop, and your ISO, you're able to make those much larger. So if you maybe were having a hard time seeing the screen or whatever, you know, sometimes those letters and numbers, they get a little bit small. You are able to increase the size of those a whole lot better now. The camera now supports H.265, and you are able to capture video in, I think, 100, 200, and 400 megabits per second. It's extremely versatile for a camera that is supposedly a photographer's camera. It will do all eye, and I think it will also do a new thing. It's called DCI, which is Digital Cinema something or another, and it will do that in 4K, and it's got a ratio of 17:9. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And overall, this is basically the X-T2 on steroids. And I think with everything that they have packed into this camera, it is an absolute beast. They didn't hold anything back. They didn't put anything on the back burner. They did not, in any way, shape, or form, try to gimp this camera to save the XH1, which is, like I said, it's a little bit odd because you would think that the XH1 user would be like, dude, we just bought this one. Wow. You know, but I don't know, man. This is going to be a great camera. And the price point, seriously, the price point puts it in a league all of its own. It has so much, and it has so much at such a low price, it's going to be a no-brainer for a vast majority of photo and video shooters that decide that they are looking for a new rig. I did play around with the digital Prism thing. I don't know, it felt a little finicky, didn't seem very intuitive. I don't know that I'll use it. Maybe it'll be improved. Maybe I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It just didn't seem very natural. But, you know, it's there. So if you do happen to have some old manual lenses that you want to adapt on, I'm sure that it was probably me. Probably was. I only got a short amount of time with the camera. I was able to get as much as I possibly could in that short amount of time. Hell, I even got hassled in line. Some old guy goes, "Are you gonna put this on YouTube?" I'm like, yeah, I am. He goes, "Well, you didn't get me in the shot, did you?" I said, no, I didn't. He said, good, because some people don't ask. And I said, I would have asked for permission. He goes, good. Some people don't. I said, well, that's because I'm not an asshole. And then the guy at the camera store apologized for me, which I didn't want him to do because the guy was being harassing. You see what I go through for you guys? It's just every single time. So anyway, guys, I think it's going to be a winner. For the price, it's really hard not to be. If it had been priced even a little bit higher, it still would have been a home run. If it had, you know, started to creep up into the $2,300–2,400 price range like Canon did, I would start to be like, you probably don't want to upgrade. But there are so many upgrades with the quad-core processor, with the new X-Trans sensor, all of the stuff that they've managed to pack into this camera and still release it $100 cheaper than what the X-T3 was released for 2 years ago. It's a no-brainer. If you are looking for a camera and you don't mind shooting APS-C and you do a bit of both, whether it's photo and video, this seriously should be on your short list. All right, guys. The camera will be out in 7 days. Pre-order links will be down in the description box below. Driving all the way up there to hang out with them. At any rate, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. I'm your host, Mark Pug, and I will see you guys again on the next one. See you guys later. Peace.